What's up, everybody? Welcome back to After the Snap, and I'm your host, Tasha Pierce. I'd like to introduce you to my hair. Yeah, I got it hanging out with me today. So, hello, hair. Say hello. This has been a wild week in entertainment, and as if you haven't noticed, we're doing the weekly wrap up a day later than typically, anyhow, because yesterday was the Netflix Tudum event, and my intention, because now you can already tell that some BS is about to come out of my mouth, but my intention was to watch the entire Tudum thing and take notes and all of this. And guess what? Every time I started watching a segment, like I would get through part of it and just fall asleep. Now there's a reason for that. I've been staying up late for no particular reason, just up, and yeah, I slept late. Let me get my mic over here. See, look at me, and I've been pretty much sleeping all day and staying up all night. So like now I've taken a nap. I woke up last night at 10 p.m. I got up and I got myself together, filmed a couple videos because I'm way off, and took a nap, and now I'm back up to do this special weekly wrap up with you. But anywho, this has been a crazy week. There has been people that are near and dear to our hearts that we've lost this week, and I figured, even though I did it in a stream that was that I ended up erasing, my Emmys live stream, that it was an audio problem, and I didn't want to leave that up. Anyhow, I did address one of these deaths in that live stream, but because I erased it, I'm gonna go ahead and address again the the passing of AJ Johnson. And AJ Johnson is from the movie Friday, House Party. We got the hookup. So basically, a generation of black film from my generation's perspective. Those movies were part, I guess, of the backdrop of my era. Were some of these films, and AJ Johnson was a part of all of that, and it appears that he passed away on September 6th, but the word didn't get out and people didn't start announcing it until September 20th. He was 55 years old. He was married and had children and grandchildren and sisters and brothers, and his entire family is going to truly miss him. Now, another part of this story that was kind of sad to me is that his wife came out and said that she basically felt like she was getting fake love from people, and that the reason why she was saying it is because he passed away, and I guess they were short of cash. It's not even a guess. At this stage, we know that they were having a cash issue, and his wife started the GoFundMe account. Now, the GoFundMe account had been up for several days. They were seeking a goal of $20,000, and I guess in a way it must have been like, it must have just been taking too long or something for her, because she came out with a second statement that was like, I know that you say you'll miss him. As a matter of fact, before I paraphrase, let me read a part of her statement. What did I just? Okay. Part of her statement. She says, of course, again, we're talking about fake love. And also, I'm getting this from Cinema Blend. And if you're ever curious to know what my sources are for the stories that I share, most of the time, the itinerary is in the description of this week's live stream. So whenever you want to, you can take a look at those articles. But anywho, at a certain point, the GoFundMe went up, and after it had been up for so long, the goal was $20,000, and the family had at that point only raised $800. So his wife was upset, and this is part of a statement that she made. She said, "But no, it's like y'all say you love him, but hello, where's the love? Y'all not helping. Like, I get the calls or message inboxes saying y'all are raising money. You're trying to. It's just hurtful. Like, I would not be asking if we had it. Like, if we had a policy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the one. You know, you know, it's people that's saying they're going to give money. We haven't received it. If I just look at it right now, it's all out of pocket just to bury them. If you guys want to give what they want to give, I would appreciate it. If they don't, that's them. But just please stop with the fake love. Please stop the fake calls. Please stop the fake texts. Please, just for our family. When I mean our family, I mean me, the kids, and the grandkids. Just stop it. Just stop. Now, she was being brutally honest about the position that she was in financially and what she would have been able to do as far as putting together the homegoing ceremony for AJ Johnson. But I really feel, I feel some kind of way about the statement. I understand she's in grief. That's a huge thing to have to explain to your children, your grandchildren, to his fans, people who feel like they have a need to know, but truly are not. They're doing their best to respect the fact that the fans would even want to know, but they didn't have to make an announcement, tell us anything, But the GoFundMe was up for not even that long. I've gone away from the article. Let me see, what day was this? So this announcement was made on the 20th of his passing. He died on September 6th. So on the 20th, the public learned that he passed away. On the 22nd is when she made this statement. Now there are a couple of ways that I can look at it. I can look at it like maybe closer friends and colleagues knew earlier that AJ Johnson had passed away, and that they had more of an opportunity to put this money together for this funeral. That's one way of looking at it. But then when you look at like certain colleagues, like I would think the ones who could truly help would be your Master P's and your Ice Cubes, your Chris Tuckers, people in that realm. It's like if they didn't know, or at least they pretended they did not know, because they came out on the social medias acting as if that announcement on September 20th was the first time they heard that Brother Johnson had passed away. So I've got questions. I've got questions, and one of them is, how quickly did she want this to happen? How quickly did she want people to respond to this GoFundMe? Because if you make the announcement to the public on the 20th, the GoFundMe goes up on the let's say on that same day, on the 22nd, You cannot come complaining that you don't have the money. All of us out here is in the same situation. Now he's got, I'm sure, thousands of fans, but everybody is not in a position to help your family in this moment. And it was kind of, to me, it's kind of selfish to ask people to hurry up when when we really look at it. uh, he has been he has been deceased for some time, since September 6th. And no diss, but we're getting up in age. And if we are in a position where we know we need a policy, we need something to be able to assist the family when we go, because it's an inevitability we're going at some point. Um, a lack of planning on your part, does that constitute an emergency on the public's? And that's, I guess, that's my biggest issue with the what the widow was saying about Brother Johnson, and the fact that the GoFundMe was taking a little too long. I didn't think that was I didn't think it was fair that she was in a rush, even though her husband had been deceased since September 6th. But that's just me. I would love to know your thoughts on that situation. But now that I finally got things, I guess you can tell that I'm trying to do two things at once. I guess you can see. Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. That's why. Okay, so yeah, we got your Ice Cubes and your Masterpiece and all these like super rich people, and I'm feeling like these people are the ones that need to be assisting with this funeral. There's no way, there is no way that I should have to have a GoFundMe if I got rich friends. I'm just saying. So now you want the fans to bail you out of this situation, and I'm not gonna keep harping on it. I didn't like the way that she approached the fact that they didn't raise enough money initially, but at the same time, I don't see why it ever had to go to that, because he got rich friends, or he had rich friends. Speaking, another thing that happened this week, another huge loss that we suffered in the entertainment industry was Martin Van Peebles passed away. Now, my first instinct is always to be a little sad, I think, when someone passes away. But then I have to think about the fact that Mario Van Peebles was 89 years old. I mean, that is one heck of a lifespan. That is a person whose days were truly blessed, you know. So to feel one way is that the loss of another great black entertainer and innovator, but it's something entirely different when it's someone who has had so many years to give us so much joy, and to be the person who started black cinema in that black exploitation era. And I guess a lot of people felt some type of way about his movies, but you had to realize that his movies might have just been commentary on the era that he was living in. And I can't remember that Sweetback's badass song. That movie from 1971. A lot of people had issue with it because it did not show black people in our finest light. However, it was a commentary on the times that we were living in. That we, as far as black people are concerned, had to move with a certain type of caution, and didn't have proper opportunities. Like when you think about Mario Van Peebles himself, the opportunities that he kind of had to make his own opportunities. He was, let me think, they had a listing of all of the jobs that Mario Van Peebles had. In addition to making movies, he published novels in French as well as in English. He wrote 2 Broadway musicals. He produced them simultaneously. He wrote and performed spoken word albums like rap. You say, Clarence says, I just watched the Sweetback trailer and I was traumatized. I haven't seen the entire movie. Trauma. But these are the things that we're talking about. He called himself Mr. Van Peebles. He called himself the Rosa Parks of black cinema. Now, one of the things that we could say about Mr. Van Peebles, he was not shy about speaking on himself. He was not shy about the commentary that he shared with the world on black people. I don't know if I'm gonna watch this trailer now, Clarence. You got me, you got me afraid of Sweetback. But yeah, so there was that era that the NAACP even came down pretty hard and wanted to boycott Martin Van Peebles movies. But again, we're talking about a man who saved up $70,000 to fund his movie. It ended up costing $500,000, and he figured out and hustled a way to get the money to put that movie out. So that's a person who, I mean, like I said, he's an innovator. He was the son of a tailor. He grew up in Phoenix, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. So right over there in my neck of the woods. But I just didn't, of course, I wasn't alive in 1932 when he was born. He went to a historically black college, West Virginia State College, now university. Then he transferred to Ohio Wesleyan University. He joined the ROTC and majored in English literature. So he graduated from college in 1953, joined the Air Force. He became a navigator on a B-47 bomber for 3 years. Then he married Maria Marx, who is a German heiress, a German actress. So after he was discharged, from fighting in a war for the United States of America. When he came back here, he couldn't get a job on a commercial airline. Remember, he had been flying these B-47s in the war, but you come back here and you can't get a job. You can't get hired by a commercial airline. So they went to Mexico City, and that is where they had the most famous of their children, Mario. They had a daughter named Megan who died in 2006, and another son named Max, and 11 grandchildren. Gosh, they were some fine men back in the day. But anywho, Mr. Van Peebles lived. Those 89 years he lived. He painted portraits in Mexico before moving to San Francisco and working at the post office. He drove cable cars, which he wrote a book about. He made short films in San Francisco, then moved to Hollywood to pursue his dreams. But the only job he could find there was an elevator operator. He has worked in every freaking industry across the board. So he really, and another part of his story, his early story, is he said he lived on $600 a year. Can you imagine? $600 a year. And I know that $600 a year equals, with inflation, comes to something different when we hit 2021. It'll be more or less like maybe $1,000 something dollars or $2,000, or God, me and my math. It would be like $10,000 to $15,000 at this point. But still, that's not a lot of money. But anyway, he said that he supported his income by servicing rich women. He said he had a lady for each day of the week, and he only had to worry about his back giving out. So, Martin Van Peebles, again, he left us, but I can't even be brokenhearted because he lived a long life, and he will be missed sorely. Now, I'm going to skip the box office for just one moment and go to Kelly Price, because there had been a story going around, and it was going out on it started on TMZ, but they had put out the story that her family was missing her. She had not been seen in X amount of time, and that the family had reported her as a missing person. So now when this story came out, which was, I believe that was Friday, when the story came out, it sent her fan base into a true to life tizzy. Like, I see what I did. And everyone was basically, we wanted to know, where was Kelly Price? Where is she? Where's Kelly Price? And that story grew legs, and Twitter was abuzz about Kelly Price and where has she been. And I don't know how an artist, she's a Grammy nominated R&B and gospel singer, so she's been around for a long time. She's got a pretty big fan base, and she's got a lot of notoriety. She's not a person who is living in the shadows. She's very active on social media usually. How does a person like that go missing for a whole month before the public hears about it? If it was truly something going on and Kelly Price were truly missing, don't you think we should have known that a little sooner? And that is the problem that I have with this Kelly Price story. Of course, as it turns out, the last report that we've gotten was that right around July 29th, she had COVID. I guess things got worse. She ended up being hospitalized, and she was recently released from the hospital, and she was going somewhere to convalesce. Now, I don't know why you wouldn't convalesce in your own home. When you got your guy, he's living there. He's there. So if I'm sick and I just got out the hospital and I need to convalesce, I would think that I would just go back to my home where my boyfriend is, and his ass better take care of me until I'm back on my feet, the same way I would do for him. But she was someplace unknown to her families, and the boyfriend wouldn't let her children in the house, and it's just a whole mess. It's a whole mess. But still, I would like to know if the general public thought that Kelly Price was missing, why did we not hear about it until a month in? When we notice that some unknown, and it's not to be disrespectful, but some a low profile white woman can go missing, and the entire nation is looking for her. But a high profile black woman could be presumed missing, and we don't hear about it for a whole fucking month. And that is heartbreaking to me. That's heartbreaking because you would expect better. I definitely do. Joy Reid came under a lot of fire last week, and she is an anchor over, I believe it's at MSNBC, where Joy Reid is. But let me make sure. Yeah, she's on MSNBC. She came under fire because she said something. She said something to the effect of, "We have, as a country, have missing white woman syndrome," and what that pretty much means is that everybody's focus, the whole nation's focus, was on this recent situation was the Gabby Petito case, and it is so unfortunate what happened with Gabby Petito. And if you're not aware, this goes off into some true crime. But Gabby Petito was a 22-year-old young lady. She was trying to start a presence as one of those van life vloggers on YouTube, and she had a big Instagram following. So, and she seemed to have a cheerful and bubbly personality. She had this boyfriend Brian, and they were starting to live the van life. So they're driving across the country, stopping and enjoying the scenery and nature, and they're living out of their van. Apparently, something happened between those two, and an argument ensued, and then they were the police were called. Well, sometime after the police showed up and dealt with the domestic situation that they had going at this van, sometime after that, Gabby went missing. Brian went home. Now, he went home in the van. So if Brian has the van and he's back at home in Florida, where's Gabby? Now, that became the question on everybody's mind for a couple of weeks now. This story has been moving. As it turns out, Gabby was found deceased and her life had been taken. So she didn't, it wasn't a natural thing. She was found deceased, and it was at the hands of somebody else. Therefore, all eyes were on the boyfriend. All eyes except for the police's eyes, because he is missing now. So the little girl missing, the whole world looking for her, ain't nobody watching him, even though he's the person that we need to be asking questions to if we turn out and find her body. So now he's gone. He's in the wind. And okay, so I told the whole story of the Gabby Petito. It's sad. They're still looking for him, but unfortunately found her body. Gabby Petito, like I said, 22 years old, small little white girl, cute little white girl. She's gone, and the whole world now knows her name because everybody was looking for Gabby Petito. A lot of people already know Kelly Price's name, so the fact that we could have been looking for Kelly Price if we thought something was wrong, we could have been looking for Kelly Price. Instead, we're finding out a month after the lady goes missing. But anywho, I'm not trying to cause no problems. I don't want no stress, none whatsoever, about my feelings about this this Gabby Petito and you say, how was he not immediately a suspect? So crazy. They gave him the benefit of a doubt before talking to him. That's the issue that I have. We got the two things going. We got Gabby Petito, the little white girl that none of us knows, but we're all looking for. And then we got this dude who he's done something. He's got the freaking van, and he's back in Florida, and she's missing. But we not watching him constantly. I'm not even saying take him to jail. I'm saying just watch him. Just keep your eyes on him. You just don't let him go. But in the meantime, we got a person in Kelly Price who the world is already familiar with, and you don't even tell us she's missing for a whole month. Now, of course it has come from her attorney that she's not missing. She's just in this undisclosed location. So whatever is going on, there's something going on within her family. I hope they get that right, because your family shouldn't be reporting you missing if you are home or not at home, if you're somewhere safe. But the Gabby Petito, and the way people came for Joy Reid, talking about she was wrong for saying the missing white girl syndrome. But it's the truth. Because we wasn't thinking, ain't nobody heard nothing about Kelly Price until the other day. And this is supposed to be going on for some time. So, case in point. Now, anywho, because I've been on a soapbox today. I don't know why I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but the Emmys kind of sucked. I did a live stream. The audio was terrible. I took it down. But my live stream about the Emmys is pretty much wrapped up in that statement. The Emmys kind of suck. You say, glad Kelly's okay. Weird her boyfriend didn't know. Yeah, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Because just like I said, now I don't know her boyfriend. I saw the pictures of him with her, but I don't know who he is. I know who Kelly Price is. So now, the home that they have, because I don't know who he is, I don't want to stereotype him, but the home that they have is probably mostly off of her back. So why is he at the house and she's someplace else convalescing? That's number one. And then number two, why is he telling her kids that they can't come to her house? I don't get that. That's what made me really suspicious of him when the story first broke. I was like, don't make me put on my coat and shoes and go to Atlanta and find this dude because something is not right. But the fact that he say he doesn't know, that's one thing. To tell her children that they can't come in her house because they're looking for their mother, that's something entirely different. That's a dude that I wouldn't even want in my life because you'll mess around and what are they saying? You'll fuck around and find out if you tell my son that he can't come over my house. Shoot. Okay. So the box office. I mean, it's more of the same. So this week there is little parts of the box office that shocked and surprised me. Well, one thing that didn't shock nor surprise me is that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is still hanging on to the number one spot for its fourth weekend. That's coming in ahead even of the estimates for this week. So this week it was thought that it was going to make $12.8 million domestically here. It has made 13.3, and it had a good Friday. That 3.6 million was a good Friday. It has become the highest grossing movie at the pandemic domestic box office. It has overtaken Black Widow, its big old sister. So now it has a domestic running total of $196.5 million. One of the things that surprised me about the box office, which is the number two film this week, and I did not expect for it to dethrone Shang-Chi, but the movie from Universal, that Dear Evan Hansen, it was on my list of movies to see. It's just last week was a bad week, so I didn't go to the movies. But Dear Evan Hansen was a movie that was on my list of movies to go see, and it's not doing well. Okay, it's not doing well at all. It started with $3.3 million Friday, which I would think that would be okay. But then that word of mouth hit. The word of mouth hit, and it ended the weekend with a $7.5 million. And that is still, it's in the number two spot. But because it already has a built-in fan base, because this is a musical adaptation, this is a musical that has been adapted for the big screen, so it already has a built-in fan base, and then so you would have expected them to show up and show out, and then you have the fact that there's not a lot going on at the movies right now. I mean, if you go to the movies once a week, pretty much like I do, you're caught up with all the movies because they're trickling out until October. We'll talk about that. In October, they say forget the trickle, but right now they're still kind of trickling out, and I thought Dear Evan Hansen would do better than 7.5 million, but a lot of people have very little positive to say about the movie, and I really had high hopes for it. Now, at the International Film Festival, they the critics tore it to pieces, and it has a Rotten Tomato score of 33%. So it's not doing good. It's not doing good at all. And yeah, I think part of the problem might be that now I know why I'm tongue tied and stuff. Gosh, okay. Part of the problem might be the fact that they used the actor who played Evan Hansen in the stage play. They used him as the actor in this movie, and he's 27 years old. So this is supposed to be a high school story, And again, I'm kind of used to uh, older people playing teenagers, but not that old. So like I look at my son, there ain't no way in hell he is about to pass for no teenager. He's 27. I think it would have served the movie better if they would have cast a younger actor for what's up, Dion? Yeah, I wish they would have cast a younger actor uh, for Evan Hansen, and maybe that would have made the movie a little bit better, because now what you have in in the movie that we had that came out the other day is you've got a guy who's almost 30 playing as a high school student, and you're putting real young people around him. Not saying that 27 is old. Shit, 27. I wish I could get that back. I wish I could get that back. But I'm saying he's too damn old to be in high school. So, and especially, he it's not like he's a young looking 27 years old. He looks 27 years old, and you can't have that. So maybe that might have creeped people out. And then it's the subject matter itself of the film, because Evan Hansen, Dear Evan Hansen, is about the school bully commits suicide, and somehow it's mistaken that Evan Hansen, who was like this loser kid, like Evan Hansen and he were friends. They were not, but there was a situation that made people feel like they were friends, and Evan Hansen kind of ran with it. He kind of ran with it, and maybe that's a little heavy right now because a lot of people are still. Dion, Dion, I heard that. I'll take 20 anything again. You know what? You about to derail me, and it's okay. I I thought that I was gonna feel some type of way about aging, but I'm kind of trying to embrace it. But my joints. If I could just get all of my joints to be 20 something again. So yeah. Oh, all right. And where was I? Where was I? Evan Hansen. Yeah, the movie is like, it's not that you can't have a 30-year-old playing a teenager no more. We shouldn't probably have a movie that is heavily discussing suicide in the middle of a pandemic. So maybe it was just the timing of this movie and the actor that was playing Evan Hansen. But whatever the case, Evan Hansen ain't do too damn well. Evan Hansen, yeah, Evan Hansen is a disappointment. I'll wait until it comes on. This is Universal. We went over this last week. I'll wait till it comes on Peacock. I think that's, yeah. And I'll watch it there. Now, another movie that I was super interested in seeing, but it's not playing in my local theater, and that is The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And there's like a reason that I want to see that movie. First of all, that Tammy Faye Baker, Jim Baker story from back in the late 80s, early 90s. First of all, you couldn't have been on, you couldn't watch TV without hearing some shit about Jim Baker and Tammy Faye Baker. So that's one thing. But then the second thing is, like, it goes back to my childhood of remembering my mama watching that show. I forgot the name of it, but it was Jim and Tammy Faye's show, and that lady, her makeup scared the crap out of me, but my mother absolutely loved this couple. She watched them every day, every day. And I know she was a very religious woman, so there's that. And I was just hoping to myself, I hope my mama ain't never send them no money or nothing like that. But yeah, back in the 80s, before my mother passed away, before the scandals started to come out about about the Bakers, and that's one thing. As I got older, I was glad of. I was like, because she really loved them. And that's what made me want to go see this movie, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Um, Also because of Jessica Chastain, I like her as an actress, but also just the nostalgia of, wow, my mother used to really and truly be 100% down for Jim Baker and his crazy looking ass wife, and better not say nothing bad about Jim Baker or his wife. My mother would give it to you in the nicest way possible. Yeah, but another thing that I'm gonna go back to really quick because I skimmed over it was the Emmys kind of sucked. And just in a nutshell, I did, like I said, I did a live stream. The audio was boo boo, so I took that stream down. But in a nutshell, this is what I said. I am sick of us. And by us, I mean black folks, minorities, people of color. I am sick of us getting uh, almost there, but not quite. Stop doing that shit. Like, if you are just nominating black actors and actresses because you want to look like you're being diverse, well, you know what? Fuck you. Keep it. Because what you're doing is embarrassing or trying to embarrass some of our best and brightest actors in the television, in and not the TV so much, but definitely with the Emmys. You don't have that many black nominees and not one of them win unless you're doing the shit in a performative nature. It's performative. If you are not truly acknowledging the job, the work, the effort that they put in their respective series, then I tell you what, keep your shit. Keep your Emmy. Keep your nominations. That shit is performative, and I'm sick of it. Now, in all honesty, I had already stopped fucking with the Emmys a long time ago because, when you don't see people that look like you winning, it's like, shit, what are we doing this for? All we doing this for is to entertain y'all? I understand they getting a check. But when it starts talking about prestige and shit that you could put on your CV and all of this, then we don't have that. And that's unfair. It's unfair. So, the the awards and the things that black people or people of color set up for themselves, they get looked down upon like they're as not as prestigious as the Emmy or the Oscar or the Tony. If y'all ain't gonna give us these shits, then we gonna make our own, and our shit needs to be equal to theirs. Simply put, if they ain't gonna celebrate you, we need to celebrate ourselves. And I know there are the NAACPs, and that's one of the awards that I'm talking about. Because I mean, we need more, not just representation. Because to be nominated is, hey, you guys are represented, you just weren't good enough. Bullshit. One person, not one. You got me completely messed up, Emmys. And I won't spend another 3 hours next year watching that shit. How about that? I got a little mad. I've been mad that this has just been a really angry week for me. So, we talked about Kelly. We talked about the Emmys. But, the one thing that I was, two actually. Two things. Debbie Allen accepting that governor's award, you know, because at least we got to see, somebody up there. And again, like she said, took too long. Took too long, and now it's our turn. So she has rolled out the red carpet, showed you all how to do it, showed us all how to do it, and now it's up to us to take the baton and just go ahead and do it. she's gotten her award. We get into they're older. It's time for one of us to pick up the baton. And the people that's picking up the baton, if you ask me, are the Afro British people. It's like there has been a renaissance of types of them just coming and taking over Hollywood, showing up and showing out. And one of those people is Michaela Cole, who oh gosh, she's from Britain. She's a British actress as well, director, writer, and I think it was I May Destroy You, which I still have not yet watched, but I bet you I do now because that young lady impressed me. Her speech impressed me. She was talking about, and I bet you I don't have it. I don't have an article for it right here. She was talking about, she read a poem. And one of the things that she said in this poem is, it's paraphrasing because I don't remember. Right, Clarence. They're more respected in a sense if they can break out here in the Emmys and all of this stuff. And we're, wait a minute now. It's like they're more respected in the sense that they can break out here. You're talking about Michaela Cole and the other British actors. I got you now. But yeah, it's a lot of them, and they coming over here and they are taking over to the point where over in Britain they are imploring their creatives to create stuff that is British centric. Like they're telling their stories. Now you're asking for them to do this. Before it was just like you could throw a rock and hit 10, 12. Yeah, British actors, yeah. You could throw a rock and hit 10, 12, 14, 15,000 white actors before you hit one black British one. So here we are. These British actors are coming over here. They are showing us pretty much how it's done because they got range. Like they can sound like me and then go right back to sounding like their British selves instantaneously. And it's like, I just did not think that that like even some of them that are British, some of them I didn't think were British. But Michaela Cole makes no qualms about it. She's a British actress. But what she said in that speech, and I've had all this time while I'm standing here waving my hands around, I could have looked it up. But she paraphrasing her, she said that it's like people think being seen is I have to look it up because I don't want to do the words injustice. She really impressed me, and I gotta watch that show. I May Destroy You. I didn't see it, but she really hit me where I live with her speech. So she said, okay, so I Will Destroy You. It tells about it's a tale of sexual assault. I know that that's part of it, and it was part of the reason why Michaela wrote it is because she had an experience with sexual assault. Okay, I'm going to read this. She said, I just wrote a little something for writers, really. Write the tale that scares you, that makes you feel uncertain, that is uncomfortable. I dare you. In a world that entices us to browse through the lives of others to help us better determine how we feel about ourselves and to, in turn, feel the need to be constantly visible, for visibility these days seems to somehow equal success. Do not be afraid to disappear from it, from us, for a while, and see what comes to you in the silence. And let me tell you, was that not like, do you not have goosebumps? And the thing is, uh, I feel what she's saying. It's like, yeah, the more, yes, if I am not going to all the hot spots and hanging out and just being in the scene or on the scene, did I even exist? Like, was I ever really here if I don't have anything out there where uh, that popularity? And she hit me where I live with that, because I do ask myself. Of course, I'm not going no place. I'm still not like like I'm not the most social person in the world anymore as far as going out and that type of thing. But I did question, like, recently, like am I going to just be gone, like in obscurity, like I was never here? And I know that's morbid, but then it's some of the things that you think about after you've eaten a few edibles. and I might have a gummy, and then all of a sudden I get super profound and get to thinking about uh, my own mortality. And yeah, I need to stop that, huh? Okay, anyhow, Michaela Cole. So yes, now she didn't win an acting award because they wasn't about to give that to nobody that looked like us. Uh, she won an award for the I believe it was writing. Let me look and make sure. Let me look and make sure. But yeah, did anybody else out there that you guys watched the Emmys? If you did you like it? Because I'm telling you, I was not happy. She won outstanding writing for a limited or anthology series or movie. And this 12-part series was up for 9 nominations. She won that. She won that one. And oh, now I'm getting hungry. What else was I going to say? Oh, go back to my. Oh, and one of the big stories, and it's been big. Like, a lot of people are talking about it, so the story is moving around, and I don't know if people are truly for real worried about about it, but it's about Marvel suing to keep the rights to Avengers characters from copyright termination. And I'm reading again. If you want to see the articles that I'm reading, they are all in the description. This one is from the Hollywood Reporter, and it's talking about how after so many years of creative IP, like your comic book characters, after so many years of it being used by the company, in this case Marvel, that it was made for. Excuse me. After so many years, the original creator can petition to have their creation back. They'll say, "I want it back," and they could petition to get it back. Well, Marvel is suing the heirs and the estates of Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Gene Colan, and others to block them from being able to get some of our Marvel characters, specifically our Avengers that we have been seeing in all these movies. Uh, they're trying to get those. They definitely don't want to give those up. So now we have Marvel suing to to keep the licensing on these characters. And it's become a big story, and everybody is talking it. And the haters are hoping it all goes to hell, and and the pundits are all discussing it. And I understand that it is something that would be awful if it happened to Disney, but this happens all the time now. At no other time in history has these Marvel characters been worth more than they are right now. Uh, the Iron Man IP and the Scarlet Witch IP. These are things that you didn't think were going to become huge in the as far as pop culture is concerned. If you're talking 20 years ago, nobody would have thought that. But now here we are 10 years after, maybe a little more than 10 years now. Is it 12? 12 years after the beginning of the Infinity Saga of movies. Here we are, and these are some of the highest priced IP out there, and and who wants to lose them? Now that their licensing thing is coming back around, yeah, hell yeah, you think that the families are going to come after their parents' creations, or the artists themselves is coming for their creation whenever that statute of limitations runs out, where they can't touch it. Now, do I honestly think that a judge in America is going to get them people back these characters that they created for the Marvel universe, comic book universe? Do I honestly believe that in capitalist America, a judge is going to give? So no, I don't think that is going to happen, and that's where a lot of people are making a story out of it, but it's not really a story, because these things have happened before with other IP, to include Superman. So these things have happened before. The worst case scenario of one was the Shazam. Before he was Shazam, he was Captain Marvel, and some craziness happened, and then he had to. I did an episode of my podcast, and I can't even think of what the name of the episode was, because Captain Marvel was Shazam, but then Shazam, the owners, let that name sit for too long without doing anything, so Marvel came and scooped it up. When Marvel came and scooped up Captain Marvel, then there was a resurgence in the original Captain Marvel comic books, but they couldn't call it Captain Marvel anymore, because now Marvel had the rights to that. So now they making it they turn it into Shazam, and that is where we are right now. That's why we have Captain Marvel in the Marvel universe, and we have Shazam in the DC universe. And that had nothing to do with anything. I don't even know how we got here. Yep, I don't know how we got here. So anyhow, let's talk about Titans, DC's Titans. Oh, there was another thing. One more thing that I wanted to talk about up top, and that is something that we probably should be concerned about, especially if we got movies that you've been wanting to see in production. I don't have an article because I just saw it, and that little that IATSE, I don't know how you say that, and it's but that is a union, one of the unions for like the cinematographers and that kind of thing, like actors. One of those unions, and I believe that they're saying it's like one of the oldest unions. It's like 130 something years old. So anyway, this is a respected union, and they are threatening to strike. And if they strike, it shuts down production of anything that is ongoing right now in the movie world. Just boom, it just stops. You just lose that time. So I'm kind of hoping that they come to some type of agreement. But if it means, hey, we fighting to be treated better, these long work days, getting paid what we're worth, as far as the jobs are concerned on sets, on movie sets. If it takes the strike for those people to get what they truly deserve, then we'll be without some movies for a little while. Just let it be. But if we can avoid the strike, please, please avoid it, because I truly there are a lot of movies on my calendar that I am so looking forward to, and I hope that we can go. I can go and see those movies, and if it means that you guys getting shit on in your workplace and that kind of thing, well, it's not that important for me to see these movies. I'm about to see what I can do here. See. It would hurt streaming, TV, movies, anything with a camera. So if it's still in production, yeah, it's gonna hurt. International Yahtzee. That's, yeah, yep. They have a way of saying it, and I can't make my mouth do that. So so there's that. But yeah, I'm just hoping, because Clarence, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon, and I am not trying to. Hey, I wouldn't cross no freaking no picket lines or nothing like that for none of these movies. But I do kind of want to see them. So please do not strike. Please come to some type of agreement, because what they're looking for is not, as far as what I read in the article that I read, uh, they ain't asking for nothing more than what the rest of us are asking for in this world. These long ass hours where you know in these dangerous conditions and this low pay. It's the same thing that everybody else wants. So, pay these people. Pay these people. But yeah, we'd be in trouble. Like, everything that is on the horizon would definitely it would grind to a halt. I'm gonna On October 1st, the crew members of most union film and television productions in the United States will decide whether to go on strike for fair pay, adequate rest, and regular breaks, things that should be a given but are hard to come by in Hollywood. While streaming companies have posted record profits, rank and file union members have seen their quality of life erode with stagnant wages and assaults on their health and pension plans. Skilled workers, years into their careers, are making little more than $15 an hour. Crew members are sharing horror stories of car accidents after 18-hour days and health issues stemming from being denied bathroom breaks. Oh, yeah, baby, y'all should have been striked. Cause I'm with you. I'm with you now. You can stop me from doing a whole lot of things. I can sneak and eat. I sit down when you ain't looking. But if I gotta use the bathroom, I gotta use the bathroom. Period. I shouldn't have to sneak to use the bathroom. I shouldn't have to ask to use the bathroom. How are you denying somebody a bathroom break? That means I have to stop and ask you, can I go to the bathroom? And that is demoralizing. That's not, yeah. Well, anywho, if workers vote yes on the upcoming strike authorization, the strike will be unprecedented for their union and significant for the entire labor movement. The and we talked about the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees has never actually struck all of its West Coast locals at once. An estimated 60,000 IATSE members could walk off the job in the coming weeks, which would be the biggest private sector strike in the United States in over a decade. And striking workers would include almost everyone who works on a film set besides the directors, writers, and actors. In show business, we use the term below the line to describe this group, which includes camera operators, grips, costumers, script supervisors, writers' assistants, set decorators, and many more. So the term comes from the actual positions of names on call sheets where directors, writers, and top billed acting talent are placed above the line. Without below the line workers, the films and shows you watch would never get made. And that is what I fear, is that this really sounds terrible. The conditions that they were made to work in, and if that's all true, they should have been went on strike. Because that sounds like, that sounds brutal. 18-hour days, getting in car accidents. And I was just talking on the, I think it was last week's weekly wrap up, about all these people getting hurt on these on these movie sets. And this kind of explains why. You got your people who are just exhausted. How do you expect safety when they're exhausted? But anywho, Titans, DC's Titans. We took a detour this week, and I'm kind of glad because I don't know if you've been following, but I've been perturbed about the way the story is going, and the biggest reason is because it seems like it doesn't know what show it wants to be. It wants to be the Bat Family. It wants to be Titans. It wants to be Dick and Barbara getting it on. It wants to be too many different things, and it doesn't exactly know how it wants to get there either. The season started off at breakneck speed. The first 3 episodes, and possibly the first 4 episodes, were stellar. And then there's this drop off after this. The things slow down and stop making sense. And I'm forcing myself to make sense out of the things that are happening in this show. To include the use of Connor Kent. How are we using him? How are we using Beast Boy? These are things that are set in canon as a way that these characters behave. When Beast Boy can smell like the scent of something or someone from God knows how far. So if he's in the same vicinity as, say, Jason Todd, a person he's lived with, he should be able to smell him. Furthermore, Connor Kent should be able to hear. So why are we underutilizing these characters? And I understand that it's not the character's fault, but y'all got to do better than this with the writing. The writing is like, this person is only strong or only fast or only smart when we need them to be. All rest of the time, they just back in the background, being dumb in the fucking way. But okay, so I was talking about this week, and again, it was some weird shit that happened that made this like a little less entertaining than it should have been. But this is better than what we've gotten over the last few weeks. We finally get to see where the hell Rachel has been. When we knew she was on Themyscira, we knew that she was there to try to assist in bringing Donna Troy back to life after she was electrocuted at a carnival. So anyhow, uh, so we see where she's been, what she's been doing, and how she's been handling the death of Donna and what she's doing to try to bring her back. Then on the flip side, we are in. It starts out on this train, and we find that we're in the underworld, the afterlife. So it's not the underworld yet, because I would think that's where the ghouls were trying to take people. But anyhow, what it is Donna Troy is sitting on this train, and then a few seats back from her is Tim Drake. He's like on the brink of death, and I'm guessing Donna Troy been sitting there since her death at the end of last season. So Donna Troy is on the train. Tim Drake is on the train. Tim Drake runs past her, jumps off the train because he is spooked, because ain't nobody telling him where this train is going. So she jumps off after him to help him. And while they out here and she's trying to help him, a bunch of ghouls just show up, and they start trying to fight the ghouls or running from them. And then a car pulls up, and in the car is Hank Hall. Remember Hank? Okay, so Hank is in the car. So now that means Hank would have had to have been on this train, right? So to get off the train, Donna's been on the train obviously the longest, because she passed away first. So for Hank to get off the train, wouldn't he have also had to walk past Donna, and then she would have known that he was dead too? I don't know if I'm making sense. I know what I'm thinking, but I don't know if I'm making sense. If Hank didn't walk past Donna to get off the train, then how the hell did he get off the train? But okay, so they all together now. All three people who, happen to know each other. They're loosely connected by just situation circumstances. So they know that there's a way back to the regular world, the real world. Now, Hank is taking them to this way back. There was by an upside down tree. Everything looked cool under there, by the way. I'm not complaining about the way things looked, just the way things behaved. Okay. So we learned from Hank that if you think and believe hard enough, you can conjure up any type of weapon, anything you want. You could conjure it up down there, because you are because you've conjured it up. You thought about it and believed it hard enough. Okay, so he's conjuring up crazy weapons, and the guns at first, and then some batarangs, because I don't know, he must have been thinking about Nightwing in that moment. Wonder Woman, or what's her name, Donna Troy, she thought of or conjured up a sword and a baseball bat. So anywho, they get to fighting these things off. The young man, Tim Drake, is in pain. He's just doubled over, and they're fighting these things off. And as they're fighting, the ground starts breaking underneath them. The bridge that they're on is breaking. So Donna's on one side of the bridge, Hank is on the other side of the bridge, and Tim is in the middle. So now Tim starts to fall, but Donna Troy conjures up a lasso and catches him and pulls him up. So now she's got a lasso along with a sword. So she's full on Wonder Woman at this point, but that's neither here nor there. It's just they're fighting. The thing breaks more. The bridge breaks more, and it's too far for Hank to jump. Of course, if you're thinking, you can conjure up anything down here, right? So why would you even have to jump? Or you could have conjured up something that would get you across from this thing. But okay, we're not going there. He didn't conjure up something that would get him across this bridge that has broken. The same way she got Tim, she could have gotten Hank. She has a lasso. She could have saved Hank the same way that she saved Tim. But of course, they didn't need that to happen for some reason. Well, a reason. And the reason is it appears they're doing their version of Supernatural. There's going to be a Hank and Dove show. And that Hank and Dove show is probably going to be in this underworld. And this underworld is going to be Hank and his brother Dove, not his lover Dove. So, I don't know if anybody else is following that. I know I'm talking crazy and fast, but there was plot holes. And yeah, it's one thing to have a few, but everything around it is so good that I don't pay that much attention to this big glaring plot hole. But these are just so obvious, and that everything that goes on around them makes it even worse, because these ghoul things, they were overpowered in one scene, and then they're completely underpowered and just standing around waiting to get beat up in another. There's just too much inconsistency within one episode for me to overlook the plot holes that I'm seeing. The last and not least of them all of the plot holes is how in the blue hell did Donna Troy know where to find Bruce Wayne? Okay, Bruce Wayne is, for whatever reason, really struggling with the fact that Jason Todd is gone and that he himself killed Joker. So he's struggling with these feelings, I guess. So now he's in this like remote place. He's got his attorney there doing his last will and testament, and I didn't really read it. I guess I should have slowed that down and read it. But he's doing his last will and testament, and then he dismisses the attorney. The attorney leaves, and then we see him pouring gas all over the floor because he's suicidal because of I'm guessing the thing that really is pushing him over the edge and making him racked with guilt is that he killed the Joker. So, okay. Even though, in my mind, you should have been killed the Joker. This was maybe the shortest series ever, because the Joker would have been dead way back in the 1940s. But, okay. So, he's got so much guilt for killing the Joker that he's gonna kill himself. And then, like, right in the moment that he's pouring the gas and he lit the match, and now he's just waiting to lay there and asphyxiate or burn up. One way or the other, he knows he's gonna die. So he's just laying there waiting for it to happen, and she just finds him. Like, she comes, I can believe her coming back to life from the underworld, but she doesn't come back into her body in Themyscira. She came back wherever Bruce is. And that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, I've just spoiled the whole thing. I didn't even tell you I was going to spoil it. But yeah, that just don't make sense to me. Her body is in Themyscira. She was resurrected by either crossing this bridge or whatever it was that Rachel did, or maybe a combination of both. And instead of coming back to where her body was laying, kind of like the way Tim Drake did, he came back to where his body was. She didn't come back to where her body was. She came back to where Bruce was. And that doesn't make sense to me. Not at all. So if it, I don't know, if you're watching it and it makes more sense to you than it does for me, put it in the comments. I'd be glad to hear it because I'm still watching. I'm hanging in. But it's just this Hank and Dove show that might look like it, if they're doing it the way I think they're doing it, this might be their version, their take on Supernatural. And I'm not sure that I'm mad at that. I wouldn't mind seeing like how they are going to make this happen. Like with people coming down on that train, are these people supposed to be dead, or like should you be assisting these people going back to the regular world if they are dying? Like some of these people are just supposed to die, and like I'm thinking that a part of me says that the reason why Hank can't escape is because of the way he died. Like Kablooey, he was just everywhere. It was where the room was covered in Hank. So there's nobody to come back to. You would have to like rematerialize, and I'm pretty sure they already like shoveled his remains about that room because that's how bad that explosion would have been. I guess a lot of it would have been just vaporized by the sheer force and heat of the bomb, but some of him would have still been there, and it's just probably not enough of him to rematerialize on this side of the plane. But anywho, I'm not excited. I'm gonna look more up into see what that is all about with this Hank and Dove show. See if that is a certainty. But yeah, I'm I guess interested. I'm curious to see if that's the way they're going to do it, and if that is how they're going to do it. Can they pull it off? And I think Hank Hall got it. I don't know about the brother. We shall see. Okay. Last but not least was What If. And what if this week was what if Thor was an only child? And oh my God. And maybe it's because I'm more up on the lore of the What If universe because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm more up on the lore of that universe because it's so prevalent like right now. So there's always a movie happening, or it's always a conversation, TV show, something that can be had. So here we are. What if Thor was an only child? I completely got this episode, but there are so many people who with the questions, and I'm like, huh? I actually get it. So in this episode, what if Thor was an only child? It was basically the difference in the upbringing of Thor was his father didn't bring home the baby frost giant. He left Loki, in fact, with his father on the Jotunheim. So now he grew up to be a regular frost giant. Odin and Frigga raised their only child, Thor. So what made it different is that Thor was spoiled. He didn't have nobody to push him, to make him to put him keep him on his toes, to push him in a certain direction. In fact, Loki is his job has always been, as the trickster god, was to make others the best versions of themselves. Well, Thor didn't have Loki in this what if world. So he never became the best version of himself. He still was a spoiled and impulsive childlike character, which is why he wanted to go and party and do all these things. He never got the lessons that he learned by having a brother in Loki. And when you flip the coin and look at Loki, Loki grew up around his own kind, and you can see that he was a more well-rounded and just fun guy. He wasn't an obnoxious asshole. He was just a fun guy in this what if episode. So the way that their lives ended up being different because they didn't grow up together. So, as part of that, we see that Thor has this party streak. He's irresponsible. And as soon as his father goes into the Odin sleep, his mom takes off to go have a drink or two, and Thor goes out to party. And by a drink or two, I mean she said she was going to stay away for some time, and she wasn't coming back to her girls. Like, this would, the next time they get to hang out like that would be for another 1,000 years. So so we know that she about to get her party on. Thor is getting his party on Earth. And everybody's saying, well, they made an idiot out of him. No, this version of Thor is kind of an imbecile. And the reason why is because he did not have the lessons that he learned by having Loki by his side. Now, one of the things that I truly liked about this episode, besides the fact that it was funny, to me, I found it very amusing. But Captain Marvel and Thor, this is something that a lot of people were throwing out there. Who is the strongest Avenger? Who would win? And oh no, Thor is stronger. No, Captain Marvel is stronger. And we really got no definitive answer in this episode. We know that once Thor pins her with Mjolnir, it's all bets off. Now, there were other questions that people had. Is like, why is he still worthy of Mjolnir? Well, it just says to me, the fact that he is running around with Mjolnir is that Odin never enchanted Mjolnir, because the hammer was automatically going to Thor because there was no Loki in the house. The only reason he had to enchant it and who was worthy, only the person who could pick it up would be the person who was worthy, was because it was two sons. And the person who was worthy was Thor. But in this situation, it's only one son. It's only one person I can give this hammer to. So I put an enchantment on the hammer, but it's not the same enchantment. It didn't say if you're worthy can you handle Mjolnir. So that is why Thor still had control of Mjolnir. But it also doesn't change the fact that nobody else could lift the hammer. It was coded only to Thor. So Thor was the only person who could lift it. And that is why Captain Marvel couldn't get her ass off the ground when he pinned her with the hammer. So it's telling me basically this. The big argument when these two characters met way back in the day, in Endgame, it wasn't that far in the day, when they met, the big fanboy argument, fangirl people argument was who was stronger, who would win between Captain Marvel and Thor. And I think we got our answer in this episode. And that is that Thor would win if whoever pinned whom. If she pinned him or blew him up or whatever, then of course she wins. But in this situation, hey, Reinhardt68, what's happening? So in this situation, he put the hammer and he pinned her. Captain Marvel lost. So in this round, as far as the way things look right now, Thor would beat Captain Marvel in a fight. Now, what he wasn't playing with was his mama. His mama, that was a threat to him. I don't know what Frigga was going to do to him if she came to Earth and Earth wasn't clean. But they made sure that they got Earth clean before his mama shows up. And she still found out the truth because his hammer was covered in all the graffiti from the party. But anyhow, what the important part to me is the way this episode ended. Now, again, I was fooled, I was bamboozled, I was led astray. Thank you, Reinhardt. I was fooled, bamboozled, and led astray when I thought that I was going to get a happy ending in this Marvel What If episode. I thought that it was going to end on a high note because all the other episodes had started being downers, you know. Well, in this particular situation, just when you thought everything was going to go right, here come Ultron and doggone in the doggone Vision, Vision his. He said his mom was about to wreck Thor. Heck yeah, she was. He was scared. Not only was he scared, all the people that was at the party, once he said Frigga is coming, they got scared too and started helping him to clean. But then here come Ultron. Okay. With all the Infinity Stones and the Vision body. Now, I'm hoping that was Ultron. So it was Ultron in a suit, but he had Vision's body, and he started with the Mind Stone, obviously, because that's how he came to life. And he somehow built some armor that would be able to hold the other stones, and he got all the stones. Now, how in the blue heck, does he even have the stones? And he said, how in the blue heck does he even have the stones? That's first and foremost. And then the second thing is like, what is his plan? What is he about to do? Because we're not sure what universe this particular story is taking place in. What universe is Uatu the Watcher watching? Is he watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we reside in, that is part of all of the events that we have seen throughout the Infinity Saga and beyond? Is he watching that universe, or is he watching another universe and the Infinity Stones haven't been atomized yet? Because remember, when Thanos, when he went to the Garden Planet, he atomized the Infinity Stones. So if he's done this, how does Ultron have these stones? Unless he's got to be from a different universe. He can't possibly be from this universe, because we've seen also the stones show up with Thanos. Zombie Thanos, though. Zombie Thanos had everything except for the Mind Stone. Now we have Ultron, Ultravision. We have Ultravision. He's got every stone. He got them all. He got the whole collection. So what the heck is their end game? What is their thinking? We know that at one point, Ultron wanted to just rid the world of carbon-based life forms like us. And maybe that's what he would do if he were to snap his finger or tap dance or however he get his stones to activate. But like, what is the end game? What is the end game? How are we going to solve this Ultron problem? Because one thing I know for sure is that he's coming back. Now, all the rest of these episodes have been rather standalone, it seems. Except for the Doctor Strange, we saw that same creature in the Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands, and the same creature from the what is her name? Captain Carter episode. It was absolutely a different universe, because remember Ultron and Hope Point was to Ultron's whole point was to put his consciousness in Vision's body. Exactly. Exactly. So now, what is okay? So we noticed and I don't know if did you watch Loki? In Loki, if you went to another universe or whatever with these Infinity Stones, they were worthless. That's why they had drawers full of them. So how is him Ultravision having a full gauntlet of Infinity Stones? How is he a threat in our universe with those stones if they become useless once you take them out of their native universe? I don't know if I'm making sense. Maybe you, unless like the only place that these stones are don't work were in the TVA. I got you. I understood it. I had to look at it for a second, but I understood it. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Unless the only place that these stones won't work is the TVA. But then, if that's the case, even with them all being in the drawers at the TVA, then there's some universe that doesn't have its stones, and if it doesn't have its stones, by what the ancient one said, the whole freaking universe should have a whole different branch timeline that makes things a little bad for her universe. That's what she said. So maybe that's where the zombies and all them damn people came from. But yeah, there's just like a that is what left a plot hole for me. It's like, okay, you got these stones. You're not supposed to have them because if they belong to this universe, then they have been atomized. If they belong to another universe, then shouldn't be. They shouldn't work here in our universe. So, what am I missing? Unless, again, unless all bets went off when the universes started colliding onto one another because of the what was going on in the TVA. He who remains is no longer remaining. So if he's no longer here, then that kind of maybe all bets were off. These stones can work in any universe. This obvious Loki variant, like that big frost giant Loki, that had to be a variant that would have been pruned if the uh, if if the sacred timeline and if the TVA were still intact or in play. He wouldn't have even been there because he was all wrong. That was like a cool ass, chill ass Loki. That's all wrong. So yeah, it was just that was the questions I had. Like, what is about to happen, and how is all this about to tie together? Because it's obvious it's about to start tying together. I think one of our next episodes we see Ultravision again. That is no mistake, and we see Party Thor because he don't have a mustache or a beard or none of that, and he's like teaming up with Strange Supreme. Remember, the sacred timeline is constructed of more than one reality. He just made sure it wouldn't produce any other Kang variants. And yeah, I can even get that. There's more than one reality, but the reality is a reality and a universe should be separate things. We should have multiple realities in one universe, but we shouldn't have more than one set of Infinity Stones in each universe. And I don't know if I'm making sense. Yeah, because it can be like all of these different timelines that just branch and fall over each other. They just, if it doesn't end up in okay, we got a Kang variant somewhere in the end. But I still think Loki being, and they've never called him a Nexus being, but Loki being so important that if he is different, if turns out to be a hero, that it just turns the entire fate of a universe. That's what I'm tripping. Like, if this Loki, this the frost giant Loki, who was so chill and just hanging out, and him and Thor was like cool, like brothers from another mother. if they if that Loki showed up, I think that he would be one to be pruned. I think he would be gone. They couldn't have him. They might let Party Thor get away for a little while, but they wouldn't let that big ass Loki just be loose, because his whole job and point and purpose, whether he even knew it or not, was to be the bad guy, was to be the person that made everybody else around him better. Unless he's doing it, he's still doing it, and he's doing it in a positive way. There's a lot of ways to look at it, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to wait to see if we got any other responses or questions or comments. I could talk for a little while, but I've already been on here for, I think, 2 hours today. An hour, 46 minutes. So yeah, if you guys are not doing anything, you can check out my latest videos on the Fear Street trilogy of movies. I'm trying to do a bunch of scary movies for the month of October. For the spooky season. And then I'll also be covering the movies that are coming out as new releases at the theaters, to include Venom this coming Friday. Well, I'm going to see Venom on Thursday. Thank you so much. Always enjoy talking to you. A little update. I've been out of work for a couple days. Got tendonitis in my foot. Oh my goodness. So I've been chilling the last 4 days. Well, ain't that something? I certainly hope that it gets better. You know, I don't know what we got to do to keep that tendonitis from creeping up, because it does happen. So hopefully you're staying off your feet, keeping them put up, and yep, get your chill on for the last few days. Yeah, I've been like I said at the top of my the top of my show today, I have been screwed up as far as my sleep pattern. So, like, I'm up all night. So, like, last night, I woke up at 10 o'clock, like I'm working midnight somewhere. I went to bed this morning at, I guess it was about 8 something. So now I would consider that a nap. I woke back up and got ready for this. But yeah, something wrong with me. Like, I can't get it to go back to the way that it was. And it's starting to suck. Because I'm up at the wrong times. I can't do the things that I need to do because I'm up at the wrong times. So yeah, I'm still low. As one thing that I'm doing for sure is staying on top of these TV shows, trying to get ahead on some movies, so that I can have something to chat with y'all about whenever they get back to normal with me. I don't know how I'm gonna get them back to normal, and I truly hope that that you get your foot squared away with the tendonitis. I cannot imagine the pain. So, and there's a new show coming on Netflix called Right Teeth. Look pretty good, about vampires. Wait a minute. I think I heard. Well, no, that's not what I heard. Let me see. Night Teeth. Because I also talked about at the top of my episode today of how things. Oh, that's Night Teeth. Okay. About how things turned out with me in watching the Tudum, that thing. Every time I fall asleep, I mean, every time I would start getting into it again, I would fall asleep because of the fact that I've been staying up all night, sleeping all day. So, a college student, so night teeth, a college student moonlighting as a chauffeur picks up two mysterious women for a night of party hopping across LA. But when he uncovers their bloodthirsty what? Intentions and their dangerous, come on, give me the rest of it. And their dangerous, shadowy underworld, he must fight to stay alive. Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, because I slept through so much of of this Tudum thing. I kept trying to just didn't work for me. Just didn't work. Let me see. Releases October 20th. Oh, October 20th. Go ahead and put that on my calendar now. I don't know how I missed it. Let's see. Yep. I don't know how I missed that because I go through trying to see what movies are coming out every month. So shoot. That's an October 20th movie. I'm gonna let you get a look at. So I got it set up. But anywho, all right. Well, I know you're just joining me, sir, but yeah, my 2 hour mark is here. It's time to go and get some food. I appreciate you hanging out with me and everybody else who hung out with me today. Mr. Clarence was here for a little while. Miss Dion, my high school bestie, was here for a little while. So yeah, I had a little group of us, and that's it. Did that just kick me out? No, it didn't kick me out. I'm kicking myself out though. I'll talk to you guys later. See you in the next one on my next in the next video or on the next live stream. It's either one. Keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to you later. Peace.